What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast. Why did I sing it like that? What makes you famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Oh, I know why I sang. Because I have Rocky Michaels coming back on the show. You know Rocky. When I told my wife Rocky was coming back on, she said, did you say, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat? I said, probably the first episode that I did with Rocky. But he's out there in California, in the Bay Area, Danville, California. I know we have a Danville, Arkansas, real close to me. So he's in Danville, California, real close to San Francisco. Don't call it Frisco. They will sock you in the eye if you say Frisco. I'm going to Frisco. Bam, I'm going to get hit in the eye, virtually probably, and then maybe if somebody from San Francisco does happen upon me, boom, punch in the face. Although probably not, because people from San Francisco are pretty nice. People in California in general are known to be pretty mellow, man. Yeah. Well, Rocky Michaels, you know him, you love him. He's been on the show a couple of times before, and he's going to catch us up on what's happening now in the world of Rocky Michaels. So stick around for that. This week's shows, let's see. Oh, I have one public show, my usual Friday night gig, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. You know the place, your favorite place to be in the whole wide world. I said it. Come on out. It's Friday night. You've been working hard all week. Come on out and visit with your friends at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. They have a full bar, the kitchen's open, pool tables. They have a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, come on out to the Rab. And you could sing a song and you could dance with your friends at the Rab Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam Friday night with yours truly. Starts at 8 p.m. and we go until at least 12:30 in the AM. Good times at the Rab. And then on Saturday, I don't have a public show, but probably a private show. I'm not even exactly sure what it is, but unless you're invited, you cannot come. Usually, I had a wedding last weekend down in Monticello, Arkansas. It was so cool. They were farmers. So I had a lot of country music, old and new country music. So that was kind of fun down in Monticello, Arkansas. It's about 2 hours away from me, but it was so worth it. The name of the venue was called The Ridge at Wilson. The Ridge in Monticello. I don't remember exactly what the name of it was, but it was a nice venue. So if you're looking for a venue in Monticello or anywhere in that area, hey, check out The Ridge. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. They got an outside part and an inside part just in case the weather is inclement, but the weather was real nice. So we were outside underneath the pavilion. They had the ceremony out in the grassy area, and there's a spot that they've put like concrete walkways to make it a little easier for the bride not to trip over her dress because sometimes that does happen. So they went ahead and they concreted a little pathway to the ceremony. Really nice. Really took the time to put that thing together, put that venue. I really appreciate a good venue. There's a lot of good venues here in Arkansas. Hey, if you want to know where, just give me a call, 501-470-6386. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Rocky Michaels, my man. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Skyping Rocky Michaels now. Hero.
Sing it.
You're my hero. Oh, it's Rocky Michaels in my face once again. Seems like we've been doing this about, twice a year for the past couple of years? It's kind of cool.
Hey, love it. Anytime you want to have me on, I love it. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Well, I mean, you've been up to a lot in the last 6 months or so since the last time that we chit-chatted. Give the people an idea. What is Rocky Michaels up to?
I used to be close to 6 feet before I lost my hair. Now I'm like 5'11". That's what I'm up to. What am I up to?
Wait, do I have a? I must have a sound effect for that. Oh, I got to come up with it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. No.
Oh, now I'm stuck in robot mode here.
Good thing you can't throw anything at the screen. I guess you could throw something at the screen.
Oh, that was it. Dad jokes.
Thank you. I'm here all week. Thank you. We're off to a rolling start here.
Oh, man.
What have I been up to? Let's see. I've been releasing a couple of songs. I try to release songs every couple of months. My most recent song was a few weeks ago called Heroes, and I released the music video after that. And trying to perform out here. You know, it's spring, almost summertime here in the California Bay Area, so wineries are a great venue for me to play as a solo singer-songwriter. And I got more songs in the hopper. Next one's coming out in August, and just trying to enjoy the journey. I mean, it's a cliche, but just trying to enjoy the journey.
Well, the latest album you have out is a 10-song record called Wishes, and that was released way back in February. But one of them, you said that we're heading into summer. I think the official beginning of summer is always Memorial Day. That's usually the official unofficial. I know I had a big party up by the pool up in Fairfield Bay, Arkansas. So that was kind of fun. But one of your songs is called Seasons, and I'm so glad that you take the time to make music videos. But if anybody was watching the music video and didn't know anything about the magic of green screen or movie magic, they think that it took a whole year to make one song as a music video. Did it take all year? Did you wait for all the seasons to make that music video, Rocky Michaels?
I did not. Thank you for the question. That was actually a very fun one to make. Believe it or not, I filmed that in an entire weekend. So out here, again, in the Bay Area, it's a very diverse region. So early Saturday morning, I drove about 3 hours to Lake Tahoe, which is where I captured the snow video, for my winter season. I was there for about 30 minutes, drove 3 hours back home. The next morning, I drove to the beach, which I can get to the ocean in less than an hour. Went to Half Moon Bay, one of my favorite places. That was my summer video. And then I filled in spring and fall just around town with the falling leaves, and I put it together. A lot of driving, but a lot of fun. And it's amazing what one can do with a tripod and a smartphone these days.
Well, the finished product is totally worth the effort, the price of admission for sure. You're making these videos and wait, did I just hear you say you did a tripod and a smartphone? Did you film all this yourself? Is this like a selfie video?
Pretty much. It's amazing the quality of the camera in today's smartphones. So that particular one, I didn't want to drag anyone else to be crazy like me and drive all these hours. So I just did it myself and have some editing software, and voila.
Well, anybody that's made music videos, I've made a limited amount of music videos when I was down in Miami, mostly filming maybe one scene. Oh, I guess, all right, how the sausage is made. You have to sing the song. You have a little playback, maybe a phone or a Walkman or whatever you're using for a playback, and you sing along with that playback in whatever scene you are, and then you'll do 2, 3, 4 different takes at different locations with different scenes. And I mean, how many takes did it take at each individual scene to get what you wanted?
It took me a while. I would take a number of takes and have some backup takes just in case. And it may very well have taken me more time, more hours to splice it all together. If I was a little off on my lip syncing for a particular verse, I would go to another season and see if I could capture it there. So I had a lot of backups. But that's the power and beauty of editing software. And to answer your question, though, I did make several takes just as a backup, just for that reason.
Oh, the first time I made a music video, it was like tape to tape, and having the two VCRs and having to record, with one and playback on the other. Now I use Adobe Premiere. This portion of the podcast brought to you by Adobe Premiere, where you can put all 4 takes in different slots and then cut them up as needed. And you can do cuts on the beat. Boom, boom, by ear. I don't know what software you're using. Give the people an idea of what Rocky Michaels is using.
For the software, I use a couple. I use iMovie, but then I also use what's called CapCut. Shout out to CapCut and iMovie. But I'm really not. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not too far from Silicon Valley, but I don't ask me tech questions. I still fumble over the remote control these days too. So I'm not the best tech guy, but it's amazing. Between Google and YouTube videos and my young sons, the chief technical officers, I consult with them and was able to kind of patch it together. And so there's so much amazing technology these days, and it really makes it a lot easier for the independent artists. If you want to sort of retain some of the duties and tasks yourself, you can do it. The resources are available out there.
Rocky Michaels, it looks so professional. And anybody that has TikTok knows that CapCut goes with TikTok like bullets and guns. There's the CapCut, and there's a few other of the instant softwares where you put throw a couple of pictures in there, or maybe like a part of a reel or a little snippet of a video, and it puts it all together and syncs it up with music. This AI stuff, that I've been dabbling with it a little bit. I took some script that I had on my website and I threw it into one of these AIs that was being advertised, and I made a whole promo video for my DJ service in a matter of minutes. AI has been a thing that's been kind of controversial, very divisive. I guess the whole acting and writing aspect of it, they went on strike just last year for AI. I mean, have you dabbled in any of this AI to make your videos or to help you create?
Not to make my videos or create, but it's popping up more and more. Just if I'm online and a questionnaire comes up, it's infiltrating so many different aspects of our daily lives. It's amazing and scary at the same time. And, you got to wonder going forward, a lot of the news, how much influence, who's controlling the news and what we see and create. And it's kind of a whole new world out there. So I'm not a big AI expert. I haven't had a lot of exposure, but I think it's coming whether we like it or not. So
no, I've grown in just the short time that I've been on this earth. I mean, I know that we're here in a blink of an eye, but in the short time, the technology has gone. I think I'm sure the first audio resources I had were 8-track tapes and 45 records and 12-inch records, and then gone on to cassettes and then CDs and eventually MP3s and beyond. I try to keep with the times, and we grew up analog and then now are full force into this digital, to where analog is kind of a novelty for some people. Oh, I picked up a record and I played it on my record player on my turntable. Oh well, why? Why'd you go backwards like that? Was it worth it? Yeah,
I know. It seems to be a fad. The turntables are coming back. I don't know if it's for the nostalgia or the sound, but it's funny you mentioned 8-track tapes. I mean, I think I had Billy Joel's greatest hits on 8-track tape, and it was like the coolest thing back then. You'd have to kind of rewind it back to the starting point, and I mean that's so many generations ago of technology, but even the phone. I mean, the phones these days are more powerful. The chips in the phone these days are more powerful than what fueled the I think Apollo 13. Back in, was it 69? So it just blows me away.
Well, you had a fancy 8-track player, obviously, if you could rewind, because one of the things about 8-tracks is if you had an album, you had to listen to the entire album. And, if it was the 3 8-tracks that I had, the first ones that I grew up with, I had the Eagles' Greatest Hits, which was an album in, I guess, 1975 or something like that. Oh, I love it when you put your finger up.
Oh,
and it gives you the thumbs up on Skype. That is hilarious. But anyway,
how about this?
I don't know. Oh, look at that! You get little hearts. See, you are technologically advanced. I discovered that by accident. I think I made an OK sign or a thumbs up sign, and it did that. But I didn't know about the hearts one. But anyway, Eagles' Greatest Hits. They made a Greatest Hits album before they were done making hits. Usually, you save that for the end of your career, but they were smack dab in the middle and said, "Yeah, we're going to do a Greatest Hits." That's like That's far.
How good they were.
And then I think I had Stevie Wonder's Keys in the Song of Life, maybe the one with Superstition on it, because I remember listening to Superstition, and then Steve Martin's Wild and Crazy Guy. Those are the 3 that affected my life because I played them over and over. I had a fancy turntable that had an 8-track player in it, so I could play records. And my first record was the Bee Gees' "Got to Get a Message to You." And maybe on the other side, I don't remember what the other side was right now, but oh my goodness, you're taking me back to when I was a baby DJ. Those songs that affect you for the rest of your life.
Well, it's so funny. I bet you and I can recite Steve Martin's Wild and Crazy album, with quotes. I play that so many times. So, yes, I think we have some common threads there going back to our early listening days. That's
the one with King Tut. And he was taking drugs to make you small. And if you
it was Let's Get Small. That's what it was.
Yeah, the police can could test you to see if you're small. They give you a balloon, and if you can get inside of it, they know you're small.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, takes me back.
Oh my
God!
Just
yesterday.
Oh, but I like it. It's stuff that influences you, the stuff that affects you. Everyday life seems to affect you, and you're able to take everyday life and get inspired by it. I know I was singing and playing, playing up off the Heroes thing, and I watched the video for Heroes, and before I put the video on, I thought, well, Heroes. What is Rocky Michaels trying to get in on some of this Marvel money, some of this sweet DC superhero money? Well, partially because I could see that song, I can hear that song playing in either a television show by Marvel or a movie by DC, where the hero, the superhero, the one gifted with powers, would shake hands with a nurse or a policeman and say, "Hey, you're the real hero around here. Tell me about your hero."
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So I had thought about that as a concept for a song for a while. And, I had watched an awards show a while back, and I love awards shows, but, all these celebrities getting up, and, it was Hollywood. But that was contrasted around the same time with there was some natural disaster. And I'm watching on TV these everyday people, they're not Hollywood, they don't have capes on, but they're going into the swamp or battling the fires. And it was just such a stark contrast that's what inspired me to write the song about, they don't just fly in on their capes, when the movie ends and we're back to real life, the average Joes and the plain Janes too. It's the unsung heroes. And the video, I don't sleep a lot because my mind is always working. But I thought it would be great to film from a rooftop somewhere. Just sort of have a little bit of the Spider-Man, the top of the rooftop. So the closest big city is San Francisco. So I went there one morning, and they have these public accessible rooftops that you can access. Parking's hell though. So I'm walking with my guitar and my equipment, across the cable car tracks and the busy streets to get to the rooftop. But I got up there. It was a beautiful, blue sky day. Luckily, no one was there. And I had about 45 minutes, and I shot and I put it all together. So it's a free YouTube video if you want to check it out. It's called Heroes. Just Google Rocky Michaels music and you'll see it.
Yeah, I haven't been in San Francisco since I was 16 years old. 16 years old, many, many, many years ago. And I remember walking down the boardwalk, and I saw a lot of street performers and street people. And the one that struck me was the statue guy. And I was wearing a red and black pinstriped shirt, the vertical pinstripes. And I stood and I put my hand out and kind of stood motionless, and somebody dropped a quarter in my hand. I thought that was the coolest thing. I'm 16 going, oh, I just made a quarter just for standing here. But you started this video. If you put this all together yourself, so professional. It starts out like any one of those Marvel, DC television shows, movies, with the comic books flickering. And then it flashes over to Superman, and you kind of morph from Superman. Are you more of a DC man or a Marvel man?
I don't know. My kids, would watch when they were younger. They'd watch all the movies. I honestly don't know if I could recite who's on which side or not. But that shot, there was Superman, leaning over playing guitar, and then it morphs into me. That was just by circumstance. I happened to be in that pose before I even saw that Superman photo. And then I'm Googling, trying to look for ideas, and I see it, and I'm thinking, that's similar to pose that I was in. And it just worked out fortuitously. So I was able to have him and myself in the same pose, and not intentionally, but it just worked out that way. And I thought it was kind of a cool effect.
Well, I see you're using your fancy 12-string in that one. My goodness. I'm so impressed with your gear. You got a different guitar, and we were talking about analog versus digital, and analog, having an acoustic guitar is probably as analog as you can get, and where you can take that thing anywhere and play anywhere. What kind of gigs are you doing? Are you getting out in front of a few people playing your songs?
Yeah. So I've got a 12-string and a 6-string, and they're both acoustic electric, which means I can plug it in. It still is acoustic, but it can be amplified. As I mentioned, a lot of wineries out here, a ton of wineries. I'm not too far from Napa, and then there's another town called Livermore, which is actually kind of the Napa's second cousin, if you will. A lot of great wineries in Livermore. So. And then you can go up and down the coast, down to Monterey. And they're great venues for a solo singer-songwriter. I usually say the more wine you drink, the better I sound. It's kind of how it works. But it's been a great compatible fit for me. And, I'll play some cover songs that they're familiar with, and I'll sneak in some original songs, and you cater to the crowd. Every crowd and every venue is different, so you try to feel them out, so to speak, and see what they respond to. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure it's not hard for you to sneak in your songs. They just blend in perfectly with having a little wine testing, and do you? All right, I know our loyal listener knows your gigs and your famous gigs at the wineries, but are you partaking as you're singing and throughout the night? Does the drinking of wine affect your playing at all, or is that even a part of your show?
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. I think in college I filled up my quota of alcohol, and so since then I don't drink anymore, just for my own personal reasons. But my wife loves, a good Chardonnay, so I'll often try to come back with some, a bottle of wine for her. But I like to be. I say I'm high on life, man, and I like to stay focused. But it's Yeah, shoot, I was going to say something. I totally, maybe I'll remember. But anyways, yeah, the wineries are, there's so many, and even into the fall and winter, most of them have indoor seating. So almost all year round, I have an opportunity to play and perform.
No, I'm with you on the wine and the alcohol, the imbibing. When I was 21 years old, I played a game of quarters. I was a firefighter. Ooh, maybe I was one of the heroes. No, I was a firefighter back then, and
here's to you.
Off duty. We were they were playing a game of quarters, and I'd never had a drink really. I held a beer in my hands when I was at a teenage party, but I really never drank any of it. But they were playing quarters, and I said, "Well, all right, I'll play." Boom! I lost. I took my half a beer, and before the turn came around to me again, I was passed out, and they put me in bed, and I never wanted to have that feeling again. So no more alcohol for me. And I think at a show one time, they had like a frosty drink, and one of the bartenders says, I said, "Hey, what is that?" And, "Oh, that's strawberry, whatever." And I went, "Oh, let me try some of that." And I put it to my lips, and I went, "Ooh, is there alcohol in this?" He goes, "Of course, it's a bar." And I went, "Oh, okay, sorry about that." And I tossed that thing away, but. I work in bars all the time, and you work in wineries all the time. So people have drinks to unwind. I'm not against it. I do like to observe people as they come into the show. Hey, here we are, ready to party. And at the end of the show, here we are. The party's over. Have you dealt with that on a sociological scale?
I don't think so. I mean, I think wineries might be a little different. I have played at bars and dive bars, and it's, I'm stereotyping, but, dive bars are a little different than wineries as far as just sort of the feel and the vibe. I haven't really come across that. I mean, most people appreciate, at least it's been my experience, appreciate, me up there. And I remember what I was going to say. You were talking about sneaking in some songs. Mm-hmm. I'll usually preface it by saying, I'm going to play an original, but it's only original if you like it. If you don't like it, then it's someone else's song. But it's great to be able to kind of share the story. Here's what the song is about. Here's the inspiration. And I mean, it sounds corny, but it's true. It's for me, it's all about trying to make connections and trying to get people to move, whether it's for nostalgia or joy or sadness or excitement. I mean, just getting people to feel alive. And I mean, that's really the best form of currency I can receive back, just having that connection made.
Yeah, that was another play off an old joke. Hey, if you like what you hear, my name's Rocky Michaels. If you didn't, my name's George.
Right. Exactly.
So look
usually
me
gets
up.
a few laughs.
Oh, for sure. And wait, got to do another one of those. Crickets.
Tough crowd.
He did a Rodney Dangerfield tugging on the. For those that are listening to the audio version of this, they'll never get the joy. Watch the video; it's awesome. And but okay, you were talking about award shows. You like award shows? I had opportunity. Was it yesterday or was it a couple days ago? I was like a guest host on another podcast, and one of my jobs was, they would play a song, and then I would have to comment on the song, like I was Simon Cowell or Jackson or whatever, or even Paula Abdul. I'd probably be a good Paula Abdul. Oh, you were wonderful. Everything's great. That was amazing. You have good effort. Yeah, I think I'd be less of a Simon Cowell and more of a Paula Abdul, but probably was it Andy Jackson? What's the guy's name in the middle?
I think Randy Jackson.
Randy Jackson. Sorry, Randy. I know you're an avid listener of the What Makes You Famous podcast. Randy, I apologize irrevocably. But you say you like award shows, and right there on the front of your website is winner. Best Music Video 2023 ISSA Awards for the best part of living. I mean, tell me about that experience. Did you actually go to, I guess, was it Atlanta, or did you go to the awards, or is this something that you did online, or what have you?
Yeah, I did go to the awards. I've gone the past 2 years, and I mean, honestly, it's such a wonderful community, ISSA, International Singer-Songwriters Association, and I follow so many of the other artists and the artists in the industry online throughout the year, and a couple of them follow me. So to go there, I mean, awards aside, just to go there and see them in person was so cool. Coming from all over the country and actually internationally as well. And it's funny, you can see someone on Zoom or on Skype, and you see them, but then I'll go in person and I'll see them in person, and I'll be like, wow, Mark Rosner is really taller than I thought. And it's so it's such a great experience to go there. And I was very grateful. I think I won the bronze for best part of living video, which is sort of an ode, a tribute to my wife, and that was filmed at one of my favorite beaches just north of Half Moon Bay. So yeah, it's wonderful to be there. It's certainly very special to be acknowledged, but just being there is just a rewarding experience. And I'm going again this August. I don't know if you're heading out there, but I'll be in Atlanta.
Man, if there's any possibility that I can get out there and experience it, as I'm more often entertaining on the weekends. I'm doing shows Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes Thursdays, and doing these things, 2 or 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. So, to tear away is so difficult, but I have to take some time out for myself. That's another thing about being independent. As an independent artist, you have to learn, maybe not work 9 to 5 because your brain is not working that way, but certainly set time aside to spend time with your loved ones. And anyone that an avid, and I know you mentioned your wife, and any avid listener to this podcast knows the story there. So I encourage you to check out the other What Makes You Famous podcast with Rocky Michaels to get more in depth in that. But you got your kids, and you got love. You got love all over this place. I mean, tell me what's going on with the kids.
I have 2 boys, and they're great. One's working not too far from here, Sacramento. The other they're both working. So, growing up, I would try to expose them to music. We have a piano here. I started with piano when I was younger, and the oldest took piano lessons. The youngest one, I showed him a few things on guitar, and he's now off on his own. He's a really talented musician in his own right. So I just think music is such a great foundational thing. Whether you can play or not, just to have music in the household is it's kind of a common thread, and we can all relate to it in one way or another, draw from it. So I didn't try to pressure them. I just had a little, passive exposure to music growing up with them, and I let them find their own interests and voices, and so it's been great. And yeah, with my music, I may have mentioned before, it's a lot easier to draw and write from real life experiences. It's harder for me to kind of make something up, just because with real life experiences, it's right there. You just draw from it. So that's part of being vulnerable as a songwriter too. You're kind of sharing, your vulnerabilities. Not everyone's going to get it, or not everyone's going to connect, and I get that. But if and when they do, it's just a great feeling. If I'm playing out live and people are nodding, or they come up afterwards, God, I love those lyrics. I'm in a similar situation. I can relate. I mean, that's to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's what a creator does. They put their heart and their soul into their creations, and that's what you do. You lay it all on the line, man. You take your life experiences. I could feel it in your songs that you're giving homage to the, not just to the heroes. And I kind of wanted to let you brag on yourself. Have you ever come chance to have a heroic point, see somebody on the side of the road that needed help, or maybe walking down the street, that you saw, ooh, that guy's having some trouble. And have you ever had a heroic experience? I guess it's not a brag if I'm asking.
Well, so I'll answer it this way. I mean, I've come across situations where the Boy Scout in me kind of came through, and I tried to help out here or there. But I would rather turn the question around a little bit. My mom and dad, my parents are my heroes, and they were just great role models for me. My high school track coach was my hero for kind of, pushing me more than I thought I could. So I have heroes in my life that have influenced me, and that I've aspired to take something from what they've taught me to try to be who I am. And I try as a parent to be a role model for my kids. I mean, I hope they're proud of me. And a lot of my songs are like living diaries. If something happens to me, they can have dad's silly words of wisdom that they can look back on. A number of my songs are from a parent perspective, and just trying to pass on, the qualities of the role models that I was exposed to, and just kind of pass it along.
It's funny. A lot of artists, once they become, they may start off as single and solo and footloose and fancy free, and their songs will reflect that. But once they get married and settle down and then start to have children of their own, you could hear it a lot in their songwriting. I'm remembering Ozzy Osbourne when he had children. I mean, he went from Bark at the Moon to Mama, I'm coming home, no more tears. It was all crying and babies, and there was a softer side to Ozzy. Do you think that's what happened to Rocky Michaels?
Oh, absolutely. When I was writing songs, I was a bachelor. I was young, dumb, and free, and writing about how girlfriends were breaking up with me, and all this good stuff. But then, it's sort of a rites of passage. I'm very grateful to have got married and I have two amazing boys, and the perspective changes. And one of my songs is called Better Man, which is one of my rock ballads, but it's basically how my wife has inspired me to try to be a better man. I'm living more for myself, more for others than I had been for myself when I was single. And it's just that influence that I can draw from. So yeah, it's definitely influenced me. And who knows what the next 10, 20 years are going to bring, but I'm enjoying the ride, as I said earlier.
Well, I know you said you're developing some musicians in your family. Any collaborations coming up in the future? Anything on plan?
Never say never. I don't know. Youngest initially was into hip hop and rap, but I think he's actually one of my greatest joys is when I can share with him some songwriters, share with him a Simon and Garfunkel or a James Taylor song, and kind of introduce the next generation to some of these great songwriters of yesteryear. So you never know. I mean, that would be great to be able to sit down and just share the experience of playing music with my sons.
Well, I mean, the rap and spoken word are kind of cousins, and a little spoken word in the corner of one of those bars, one of those wineries, it would be kind of fun. I could see that, you setting a nice little lyric, if he's a lyricist, putting that to music. I could see that. I guess when rap was young and back in the 80s when I started, it was kind of clean. I'm the best from the east to the west, from the north to the south. I got the biggest mouth. There really wasn't a lot of curse in there. So I think it would lend to a real, and I remember, even Blondie got into rapping with her Rapture, and there was just, everybody was trying their hand at rap back then. I could see it blending with your music.
Yeah, maybe what I love sometimes on award shows, they'll have different musicians from different genres and they collaborate together. I mean, I remember Tim McGraw singing with Lionel Richie, and I think it might have been Eminem who was singing with a pop star. And it's
Elton
just,
John.
yeah, why not? It's all about inclusion, man. It's just music is that common thread. You can have different backgrounds, but music is sort of that international language that we can all appreciate.
Well, I mean, the origins of hip hop, they were sampling music, and I say they. Sometimes I would sample some of that music when I was the DJ, and I had another MC in front of me, and I would take some of the back beats off of two different records and play the beat, the break beat on this record, and then switch over to that record and switch back to this record while an MC was doing his lyrical thing. But man, there was a show called Glee that would just mix and mash up songs that you probably wouldn't have ever expected songs to be mashed up, but they came up with something completely different, and I enjoyed that. I think the 90s were doing a lot of country with rap, and there was metal that had some rap in it as well, and every genre was kind of blending and mix matching. I was kind of excited about it. I'm a child of the 80s, but when the 90s came around and started doing the blending and grunge and just things were coming together, I'm here for it. I gave it a shot. We had plenty of parties.
What's great about music is there are no restraints, really. I mean, if you can create your own genre, you can just whatever. I mean, there's going to maybe be a new kind of genre in the next few years. I mean, it's just create from within. And I'm thinking what my kids turned me on to Post Malone, who started as kind of a rapper, hip hop, but he's got a lot of pop and singer-songwriter songs now, and he's really kind of evolved and morphed. And yeah, he's not inhibited. I mean, you can go whatever direction you want. Good music and good quality messages are going to find their way, one way or another. So
yeah, and we just came right back around to Heroes, because Post Malone had that Sunflower song that was from the Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie. Such an amazing song. Oh my gosh. And
you get thumbs up for that.
Oh yeah, look at you. Look at I like it, man. If you're watching the video, you can see there's a he made fireworks.
No idea how I did that. I don't know how I did that.
2 thumbs up on Skype gives you fireworks. Hey, this is the old man corner technology hour, as now I'm learning about new things. All the kids out there already knew. They already knew. You put 2 thumbs up, you're going to get fireworks. No, but that Sunflower song, when it came out, and a kid, before I had even heard it, a kid said, "Hey, can I sing this song for karaoke?" So I went and I bought it real quick for him. And it was so beautiful. I said, "Post Malone, are you sure that's going to be appropriate for this restaurant that we're in doing a karaoke show? Are you sure? Post Malone." Oh, I'm judging a book by its cover. It's a beautiful song. I like when even Pharrell, he started out in a rap group that had a few choice pieces of language, and then he comes out with "Happy" for the Minion movie. Because I'm happy. I'm like, yeah. I mean, hey, any of your songs going to be in movies, or have you submitted anything for movies or television shows? Is that an avenue that you're exploring?
Yeah, thank you. So shout out to Big Records and everyone there at the Big Records family. There have been some opportunities that have been offered up. So I think I submitted some songs. Sync licensing can be a very rewarding and profitable sort of route, but it's very competitive, and understandably it's very selective. The professionals on the other side need to find the exact right song, or the right segment of a song to match the scene or the movie. So but I've submitted a few, just why not? Worst case, I hear crickets, but we'll see. I don't write songs. And speaking of, what happens if you? Nope. Oh, look at that! Look at that!
A thumbs down gives you a thumbs down, Bubble. Oh my! No, none of that. None of that.
yeah, that's not my guiding lights to try to write for movies. I mean, if it happens, that'd be amazing. That'd be wonderful. But I'm just writing organically, what I want to express, and I hope it's received. But it still is going to be just very almost therapeutic just to kind of write, and it's a lot easier to get my thoughts down on paper than to have a one-on-one live dialogue and try to explain how I feel all the time. So being able to write is kind of a good therapeutic way for me to kind of express what I'm feeling.
Yeah, an incredible soundtrack can make the movie, make or break the movie, really. So I can imagine a Rocky Michaels song or even a whole movie featuring Rocky Michaels. You hear me out there, my loyal listener who's about to make a movie and needs some good tracks? Rocky Michaels is very prolific, and you make different kinds of music. So the scenes can be enhanced with little Rocky Michaels in the background. The boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy pines for girl, all soundtracked by Rocky Michaels. Boy was pining for girl, but he was a firefighter and he got hurt. Oh no, but he recovered with her help.
I think I might have Keys Dan be my spokesman for that's great. You're hired.
No, and I'm glad that you mentioned the Big Records family. And my goodness, it has been kind of a family. I know there's a business aspect to it, and we're all just trying to get ahead in this world, and you're taking the time to make this music, might as well have some people listen to it. And if Big Records can help you to achieve that next level, and if I can help you get to that next level, so be it, man. I'm very happy to chit chat with you. I don't want to take a lot more time. I know you've spent hours on this What Makes You Famous podcast. Any other avenues you want to explore? Any shows coming up in the near to distant future? What's on the horizon for Rocky Michaels?
Thank you. I have a couple more shows throughout the summer, and if anyone is in or around the Bay Area, I list my performances on my website. You can always go to www.rockymichaelsmusic.com, and I have a performance tab. Among everything else, I'm my own booking manager, so I'm constantly trying to, keep that pipeline full. But yeah, just some more shows. I've got a song, like I said, coming out in August. I try to shape my albums, 10-song album, some fast, some slow, some guitar, some piano, and just kind of offer some variety. So just going to continue to do my thing. Anybody wants to follow along on social media, give me a shout out. I always try to respond back and appreciate the support. And thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, here's another thing. Some fast, some slow. For someone who's doing an exercise routine, that's exactly what you need. A little fast, a little slow. If you're doing some yoga, doing some aerobics, even lifting weights at the gym on that treadmill, put a little Rocky Michaels in your ear. You'll be happy. All right. And then give Rocky Michaels a shout and let him know what you think. All good things, and leave 5-star reviews on all his social medias, and I guess Apple. I guess you can review on Spotify and Apple and leave 5 stars, and that helps you to get seen and heard more, and that's fantastic. We help each other out. People helping people. All right, well let's give this last words for the people thing a shot. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. It will. You're going to be making more stuff. You're going to be doing more stuff. So I want to hear more from you. I'm a stalker. I follow you around in your social medias. But giving those words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or a mantra you wake up with, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Rocky Michaels, give those last words for the people.
Last word. Thank you again. Thank you for having me on. I think what comes to mind, well, just on the heels of my last song, Heroes, again, the message is something hopefully to put out there, share some positive vibes. So many people, the teachers, the volunteers, the army guys and gals, and the medical professionals. They're not always in the limelight or in the spotlight, but they're the ones working every day to make our lives better. So if you come across them, just if we can all share some some love and support for them. Positivity begets more positivity. So just throwing it out there.
Well, there you have it, party people. The very prolific Rocky Michaels, the very thoughtful Rocky Michaels. Man, he's putting out a lot of music, and the music that he puts out has a lot of thought. And putting the music video, making a whole music video by yourself. Oh my gosh, the talent. Not just photographing yourself, not just holding your arm out with your smartphone and getting yourself a selfie or even a little video. No, setting up a tripod, making sure that the time of day is right, the lighting is right, scouting out locations that are perfect for the part of the song or for the song itself. I mean, he drove hours and hours to find some snow for the seasons, and he went to the water to get the summertime. Then he went to different locations that had kind of a fall, so that whole season's video. Check it out on the YouTube page. The links are down below. And before any of all that, check out RockyMichaelsMusic.com. I know he put the www in it, and I'm going to laugh at you a little bit because that's kind of old man. Nobody puts www in front ever anymore. Now it's just RockyMichaelsMusic.com. That's all you got to know. Skip that www. I remember there was a commercial where the lady was kind of rattling off the website. Honey, what's that website? Hey, p colon / whoa. She was kind of sounding out the whole website. It's done. RockyMichaelsMusic.com. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. Speaking of old man, I'm the last guy on AOL. Well, one of them. My wife's also on AOL. How about that? There, I called her out. That's it for me. It's KeysDan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.